I mean, first official practice. Seems you guys have practiced quite a bit, though. Does anything change when you
I think there's always an enthusiasm about us telling Tanya that I've been very fortunate and blessed. This is 35 of these, but they change over the years. Back 20 years ago, it was October 15th. Now then it used to be right at the end of September. Now we're in the third week of September we're starting. So all the date changes, but the enthusiasm, excitement, and I called each of them last night and told them that there's a difference in off-season and in-season. And we've had off-season since mid-June, and this has been a really good group in the off-season. They have worked. We've got good depth. We've had good energy. It's been a very good talking team for this time of year. But I told them, now it just ramps up. It goes from where we get 8 hours a week to 20 hours a week. So it gets ramped up starting today, and I'm excited to see kind of how we do the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, a lot of the players said things aren't being allowed to slide this year, or maybe they did last year. I guess, has there been a different intensity, and is that coming from the coaches?
Yeah, and one of the things we've said from all along, I said there was accountability on the player side and there was accountability on the coach's side. And I've told them, I said last year was a year where I thought we were old, I thought we were experienced. The mistake that I made in leading from a coaching standpoint was I think I gave too much of that leadership that players are going to manage players. And you go from good to great when the players can manage themselves. And I made the mistake last year of assuming that, and we weren't able to handle that. And so this year, and started in the summer, though we do have young guys, but we're old again. We've got a lot of good vets on this team that it's going to be managed differently. You're going to have to prove it. You're going to have to, and part of that is how you talk in practice, what you do off the court as much as what you do on the court, how you invest in it. And so far this has been a really good group that way. And we're starting to see some leaders emerge, and that's going to be good. The key is, as you know, the game has changed totally. I think coaches can always adapt as rules change and the flow of the game, although that's easy. The difficult part right now is that you're going from where you used to be, take seniors in high school, and they develop and they grow, and that's almost eliminated. That's we've got 3 really good freshmen on this roster that we're excited about, but it's a whole different game when you're bringing 8, 9 new guys into the mix every year. That's a little bit different for somebody like me that's been doing it a long time, and we've had to adjust kind of how we do things. And hopefully those adjustments here in the off season will pay dividends.
With so many new guys, I guess, who do you see as the leaders of this team right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that's going to evolve. Tayshaun has been a leader. He's been somebody that won a state title at Indianapolis Cathedral, and he's been that kind of, he likes to call himself a pit bull because I think he's got pit bulls, but he does look that way. He looks that part. He's a strong physical combo guard. TR is a veteran TR guard. I think this is one of the years that we can play multiple, what you would per se, point guards. I'm not a label guy, but we could put 2 or 3 point guards out there at a time. And our best teams at New Mexico when we were in this league, we had multiple point guards, and this is probably the first year we've had that advantage of doing that. So I think there's going to be leaders that evolve. Chuck is working on doing that because he's at a whole different level now that he goes into his junior year, and I've really enjoyed watching him over the summer. He's led us in scoring. He's shot the ball extremely well. He's been a really good defender and rebounder. So we're anxious to see what he can do. And then the vets, or the guys that we got out of the portal, it's kind of wait and see, how things get ramped up here in October and we start games in November, just where their leadership ability comes in at.
A lot of the guys talked about the conditioning drills at 7 a.m. Are those new? Is that something you always did? And if you could just kind of comment on how the pace of this team may change.
Yeah, we've done that in the past. It's like anything, Chris. It's like whatever you do, it's what you put into it. And what I've seen in this group is they've bought in and they put into it. They're watching film on their own. They're getting in the gym on their own. And the conditioning, we've had nobody late. We've had everybody on time. Everybody runs it. I think everybody on the team, probably their mile run, which is new to us this year. And we just put that in as, we were 3-8 in 2 possession games last year. Our 2 good years that we had back-to-back, we're winning 60, 70, 75% of those close 2 possession games. Last year we couldn't close, and some of it leadership, some of it not having a go-to guy maybe that could get that basket until late, where Kobe kind of he started really coming in February that way, but really didn't have that. This year, I think it's a group of guys. I think we got 8, 9, 10 guys that can score the basketball. So I don't know if you're going to see one guy just lead us in scoring all the time. I think you're going to see a group effort. And so the mile run was more, let's talk about endurance, let's talk about finishing. And I think everybody on the team in a 3-week span reduced their mile run by 30-plus seconds, which is a really good deal. So I like what they've done in the offseason. The Bahamas trip was tremendous. We got a lot done, and we're pretty healthy. Other than Ethan, we're pretty healthy right now going into the season.
Was there like a minimum time they had to hit on that mile?
No, we didn't do that. I'm not sure Elijah could have hit that medium, the time that we put out there, but no, it was. It wasn't any time. It was just once they had that benchmark of the first one, it was really the challenge of, okay, we're going to do this for 3 Fridays. What's your third Friday going to look from your first Friday? And in their benefit, the first Friday was when they came back to school. So that tells me that they put in the work and the mindset of let's get better week to week. And these guys have had kind of a mantra all summer of stacking days, and they've done a good job of doing that.
If you just look maybe on paper of like, okay, where is there potentially a weakness? I think it would be 3-point shooting.
Correct.
I guess how would you assess where the team is in terms of its shooting?
And I think that's getting better. I think the guys have really worked on that. You try, I think, whether it's in the portal or recruiting, try to what were your weaknesses the year before or what you got coming in. That gets harder because you don't know, you're not really going to know about retainment until you get to the portal recruiting. So now instead of like the old days where you're recruiting now because you know what's graduating, now it's like you don't know what's being retained, so you got to wait till basically April to find out of those things. So I know that I got to be realistic. We're not going to change everything, but we did want to change athleticism. We wanted to change depth. We wanted to be able to play faster. I think we really played at a really high level with Keenan and with that group, but it was a possession-by-possession game, and we didn't generate a lot out of our defense. I'm not putting that on Keenan. I'm just saying in those days, that's the team that was. This team has more depth, more size, more athleticism. Our bigs all ran the mile in less than 5:30. So I mean, they know what they're doing. They can really run the floor, and I think that kind of athleticism, whether it's picking up some full court but generating more, and we did that in the Bahamas. Now the competition wasn't great, but I've liked all year, all summer long, of just our depth, especially defensively, and where we lack in the actual ability to shoot threes, like maybe teams in the past, we've got more guys that can score. Last year I thought we were very limited on who could score, and this year it looks like there's 8, 9, even 10 guys that could score the ball at any time for us.
There's obviously been common threads between all your teams: defense, getting to the free throw line,
yeah.
Intensity. What do you feel like at this point they're going to hang their hat on?
I hope defensively. I think you'll see us do some different things offensively with this group because we've been messing around with that this summer, and we've been messing around also defensively with kind of a pack line hybrid with more pressing, more trapping, just because I think we can utilize more guys. We've been pretty set with 7, 8 guys, and I think this is going to be a roster we're going to be able to play a lot more guys and hopefully play at a higher level intent-wise defensively over the period of a game, not just 20, 30 minutes.
You've talked a lot about adjusting in this new era and how you treat the guys, and obviously NIL and whatnot. You had that viral moment at the Mountain West tournament. Did you hear from a lot of people? There was a lot of social media people agreeing with you and a lot of prominent names. Did you get contact?
Oh, my post game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just what it is, and I think I said that then. I'm all in favor of what's happening. It's just it's a hard business when there's no guardrails. I mean, when there's absolutely no guardrails on agents and players and transferring whenever. I mean, I think that's an issue because I'm a player first. I was a player first, and it's something that never came into my mind. I knew where I was going to go and where I was going to stay, but in part of that was Coach Knight making sure I was going to graduate. I knew that playing for him, I was going to have a second career, and it happened when I was 26, 27 years of age when I got into coaching. These guys are in the same boat. They're going to have a second career, and I think that's always part of coaching, of making sure you graduate, and when basketball is taken away, are you ready for that second career? And to me, with the way it is now, it's really much more difficult to graduate because every time you transfer, you're going to lose minimum 15 hours every time you transfer. So if a kid goes to 4 schools in 4 years, you're still at 50% 4 years in. And now asking them to come back when they're 26, 27 to finish half their career academically, I think that's hard. And I think that's long term. If it stays the way it is, that's what we're going to be seeing. And I don't think that's good. I don't mind taking the amateurism and let's pay players, let's play student athletes, but let's not turn it into 24-hour free agency as a professional level. That's not even at the professional level. And so I think that's where I just wish and hope our game ends up evolving to.
So as you were trying to assemble this group in the off season, is that part of your message of like you still have some of those old school, like I want to turn you into great young men for the rest of your life values versus also come here, have a good opportunity to obviously play some high level ball and maybe put a little money?
Yeah, I mean, I think being a good person and doing what you're doing educationally and doing everything on your court, it's not old school, it's right school. It's just my approach. That doesn't mean just because you're getting paid now, you're not a good person, you're not working hard. You should take advantage of the opportunities you have now because you've got more opportunities now than players that had 20 years ago. So it's still only 1% making it at the next level. That's still the same percentage. So it's about what you do when you're in college, educationally, and on the court, that you're developing those relationships is going to mean a lot to you down the road.